Good morning, Vital Men. It's good to be with you on your Monday. Today we're going to talk about a subject that a lot of times as men that we have to make a decision whether or not we will step into this. Whether or not you're going to be a man who steps into the arena. A lot of times as men, we either step into the arena that we call life and we do something and make changes about it, or too often we become spectators and we sit on the side and we do nothing and we watch what goes around us. There was a president by the name of Theodore Roosevelt, and I love him. He's called Teddy, and he's just a rough rider, a man's man, and this president is just awesome. And one of the things that I looked up on him about his faith life, and what he says that he was a man of fervent faith. One of his favorite verses comes out of Micah chapter 6, verse 8, and it says this. It says, "Know, O people, the Lord has told you what is good, and this is what he requires of you, to do what is right, to love mercy, and to walk humbly with the Lord your God." See, in this verse, as you look at this verse itself, it has everything to do. You can't do any of these things on your own unless salvation has to come first. We have to come in the midst of our brokenness before God himself and share with him that we have sinned, that we have made mistakes. It's at that moment, I believe, with all this within me, that we begin to be what I call the man who steps into their arena. The man who lives life in such a way that he takes charge of how God shows him on what to do. One of the things that, as we talked about being the man who steps in the arena, in order to be a man who stands with God and do right. Outside of Jesus himself, there's nothing that's good in us, and there's not enough right that you can ever do to be right. Being right is being with God. The second thing in that piece of verse it talks about is when we stand with God, we love mercy. I tell you what, showing mercy is big, especially in times like this, especially in times when we have struggles and trials and things around us, for the most part, we can't make or we can't choose, and it chooses us. Changes are happening and things are happening in our lives. So we have to be even more so men of mercy. And the other one is in order to be a man who steps into the arena. When you stand with God, you walk humbly. It's not about you. This thing that we call life, nothing of it is about you. Even the ministry that I've been a part of Vital Ministries, isn't Mike's ministry. It's the ministry that God has put inside of me to walk humbly and give it back to him. So are you truly ready to get into the arena? That is the question that you have to make. No man can make it for you, but it's the decision between you and the Lord. Teddy Roosevelt, he writes something about this, about the man in the arena, and I think this is good, and I'd like to read it to you this morning. It says this: "It's not the critic who counts, not the man who points out how the strong man stumbles or where the doer of deeds could have done better. No, the credit belongs to the man who is actually in the arena, whose face is marred by dust, sweat, and blood, who strives valiantly, who errs, who comes short again and again, because there is no effort without error and shortcomings, but who does actually strive to do the deeds, who knows great enthusiasms, the great devotions, who spends himself in a worthy cause, who at best knows in the end the triumph of his high achievement, and who at worst, if he fails, at least he fails while declaring greatly, so that his place shall never be with those cold, timid souls who neither know victory nor defeat." Will you today be a man who stands in the arena? Men, I'm going to encourage you as vital men, don't be a spectator. Don't be somebody who just simply watches what goes on and does nothing. Choose today. Will you be the man in the arena? Thanks for being with us today.